I do love me a good collaboration, and I do love me some Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. And Jeff Borsowitz over there at CoronaCigar.com, very nice guy, always been very, very nice to us. And he, with his Florida sun-grown wrappers here, got together with Steve Saka at Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust and created this, the Black Angus. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz, and that right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy, Florida sun-grown. So this is Jeff Borsowitz, CoronaCigar.com. Done some stuff with Davidoff, with his Florida sun-grown wrapper. The American, J.C. Newman, that is also him. Also, there's a Florida sun-grown with Drew Estate. But this is the first one doing something with Steve Saka, Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. So first things first. They're Corona Cigar, CoronaCigar.com, and they did not pay for this. They are not advertisers yet or anything else, but we have met with Jeff. I've spoken with him before. Very, very nice guy. Always been very nice to us. And when I saw the collaboration, I wanted to give it a go. So I bought a box, spent the money, bought a box of these cigars, and admittedly, Fingers, I've already smoked a couple of these. I've already done this. So what you have here in this is a 6 1/4 by 54 box press, which means it's 6 1/4 inches long. Always makes Fingers Malloy laugh. And the ring gauge is a 54. That's the diameter of the cigar or how thick it is around. Again, with the laughter. Now, this is a box press, which means just as it sounds, it's a little squared off, right? This is not a harsh box, right? This is not really intense. It's got a little bit of give to it. The box press comes from the Cuban rollers out in the fields, if you will, or out in the open air, and the wind would blow their cigars off, so they would square it out, so it would just rest on their tables much easier. This is the wrapper, that Florida sun-grown. Actually, I should take that back. The filler is the Florida sun-grown in here in the Ligero. This is an Ecuadorian Habano Rosado wrapper with San Andres Negro in the binder, and then the filler is that Florida sun-grown Ligero and some Nicaraguan Criollo. If that sounds like a whole mouthful to you, it is. But that very much is a Steve Saka kind of way of doing things. And one of the things they talk about is that Saka could have done anything. Saka could have limited the amount of Florida sun-grown in this any way he chose, and he didn't. He wanted it to have its play. He wanted it to have its moment to shine. So you have this cigar right here. Fingers, we just lit this up. And I want to say the way I have seen my interpretation of Florida sun-grown was that it was more wrapper based than anything else. This is not being used in the wrapper. I don't want anybody to think that I'm trying to confuse anyone. We just lit this up. Where are you at?
Well, first of all, it has a nice hand feel to it, right? It really Beautiful. Feels great in the hand. I love the band. We just lit this, and I am not really getting much of anything other than a nice bit of white pepper. Now it may be what I had today for,
should we play?
Well, it's kind of boring.
Are we gonna play?
Yeah, it's kind of boring. But to me, I'm just getting pepper at this point, and that's about it. But like I said, we're in the first third of the cigar.
That there is spice, period. I think that there's a little bit of, but really, I think that there's something a little more luscious going on. There's something a little more savory going on. There's a bit of bittersweet or a bitter dark chocolate that is happening. Which is something I like quite a bit. But you're absolutely right about the hand feel. This wrapper is gorgeous in this kind of mix of brown, black, almost playing to a brown saddle as opposed to more of an orange saddle. And the feel of that's a suede. That is oil. That is a suede. That is so close. Very few times have we come across a wrapper. It's like that feels like glass, just slides right off. But that is very, very, very close. But white pepper is the first thing that you're hitting.
Yeah. But you are definitely getting some sort of spice kick, correct? Or is it not even that?
Not
much.
Kick.
No
presentation.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, it happens.
I'm trying to think. Like, I've got some coffee in front of me. I have a Diet Coke because I always do. I had a steak for lunch, but I also had a steak for breakfast.
Oh, look at you.
I did have popcorn today because we made popcorn because that's the way God
Me
intended it to
too.
be. But you didn't make your own.
Well, no, but I got it at the second best place you could get popcorn, of course, a gas station. I was in a hurry.
You're in a hurry. Yeah, but I don't know if I would say that is
Well, this is the first cigar I've had in like 3 weeks too. So there's that. Well,
by the
2
way,
weeks.
I'm not crazy. The American is a Florida sun-grown wrapper. So in some places it's the wrapper, and in some places it's the filler. You got to check the cigars. I knew I wasn't. It was driving me nuts. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to obsess about that. Talking about the Black Angus, which is Corona Cigar Company. You're talking about Corona. It's coronacigar.com. So Jeff Borsowitz's Florida sun-grown tobacco mixed with Steve Saka, Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, and his idea about what should be in a cigar. I love the feel. I love the construction. And now that I'm done obsessing about whether it's wrapper or whether it's filler, it is a very, very pleasing flavor. I almost want to argue, Fingers, is there in any way you could come along with me and agree with me that one of the flavors that you're getting out of this is a stout? Could I get you to agree with me that what you're saying is spice is not white pepper, but more luscious in that way, more of a stout beer hit?
But actually, you have talked me into, now that I'm getting a little bit more into the first third, I am starting to get some of that chocolate that I wasn't getting before.
You want to get your notebooks out, right? What did you eat today? What did you drink today? What is the weather? We had gorgeous weather, and then we went back to cold, rainy weather here in Indianapolis, Indiana, right? All that will affect your palate. And then get your notebook. And then start, you take the cigar, you break it up into thirds in your mind, right? First third, second third, final third of the cigar. What are the flavors you're getting? Like, what is the impression that you're getting? If you don't have it perfect, don't worry about it. Just walk yourself through it. Be honest about what it is you think that you're feeling. What would you connect that to? Write it down. And when you try the cigar a month from now, 6 months from now, whatever the case may be, you try it again, do the same thing. Then you check your notes. You'll see what's similar. That's your through line. That's really where your palate is and what you got from this cigar itself. You're starting to get a little bit of that chocolate.
A little bit, yeah.
So I think what that does, and the way I would describe it, it's adding a little bit of richness to the cheek. Now, sometimes that comes across as tobacco forward. I don't think that's the case here. I think it is more of that richness. How much is this stick? Is it in our humidor? We're going to get to all of that. Keep it here. This is Eat, Drink, Smoke. Eat, Drink, Smoke. It is your cigar, bourbon, foodie extravaganza. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. We are smoking a collaboration from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust and Corona Cigar Company, coronacigar.com. The Black Angus, 6.5 by 54, made with Florida sun-grown tobacco from Jeff Borswitz, the owner of Corona Cigar Company. This is smoking a little faster than I thought it would. I think the cigar feels incredible in the hand. I think that this wrapper is spectacular. I like what it is that I'm experiencing here. I was describing earlier, this is not a tobacco forward cigar, but you know that the tobacco is there. I just think that there is this good mix here of these things that should bring you spice, like this Ecuadorian Habano that is in the wrapper. You would think that Florida sun-grown by its name would bring you some spice, but how this is put together, how this is connected, what you're getting is much more of a richness. Yes, that bitter chocolate is there. I think there's a bit of savory going on in here. I think there is a touch of wood that I feel, but what there is a lusciousness. And this is a cigar I could absolutely smoke often. The question, Fingers Malloy, is it in your humidor for $30 a stick? This is a special. They sell it as a box of 10. I bought the box. I wrote the check. All right, I used a credit card. And glad I did because I wanted to try it. $30 a stick, Fingers Malloy.
That for me is definitely in the special occasions cigar range right there when you start getting into $30. I could see having one of these in my humidor for a special occasion. I'm getting more of a coffee than I was before. There's a little bit of that chocolate, not that white pepper I was getting at the beginning of the first third. That has kind of subsided. It has been a low maintenance stick. It's been a very good smoking experience.
I like Steve. I like Jeff. We've had a chance to interview Steve Saka on a bunch of occasions. Always been polite. I reached out to him about a book that I'm working on. He's like, "You just say when." I have to reach out to Jeff as well. We do not have a financial relationship with either one of these guys or their groups. We would love to. I'm not gonna lie. We would love to. $20 a stick. And so the problem that you now get into, and the story that you have to ask yourself is, where this $10, is this hubris or is this today? Is this just an inflation economics reality that the cigar that should be $20 no longer is? And I'm talking about an increase of 33%. I did that math, 20 to 30, and so I made it 33%. But you check your margins. I don't know. That's the problem. That's the thing that's killing me here.
I've kind of readjusted what I'm comfortable with on
way faster than I have, by the way, Fingers.
Yeah.
You really have, and I think everybody's noticed that you're more willing to spend the cash.
Yeah, it feels like you have to nowadays because of everything that's happened with the industry, with the economy in general. Is prices have gone up across the board, and you have to start re-examining what is a special cigar stick price.
Yeah, I hear you. But once you're into these 30s, you start asking yourself, how does this compare to name the Davidoff you want to get? Right. But then again, some of those, like the new Winston Churchill, the artist, which is chef's kiss, that's way above 30. So to that end, yeah, this works. I would argue without question, this is a cut above. There is something smoking much better here than in other cigars. It's just, I want it to be 20. I want it to be in the 20s.
Okay.
That's the only issue.
Unfortunately, I think you need a flux capacitor to make that happen and go back to 2019.
And to that end, buy a box. To that end, buy a box. This is a great example of buy it with a group of friends, five guys, five ladies. Everybody gets two. You smoke one all together. You smoke one separately, and you see where you're at. But I got to admit, I like what they've done here. I do like what they put together here, and I feel like, you know what, it's more than I want it to be, but I feel that I got something of value for sure. The Black Angus cigar from Corona Cigar Company, coronacigar.com, and Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. Beautifully presented, guys. Absolutely beautifully presented. Find everything we do at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. This is Eat Drink Smoke.
Follow Eat Drink Smoke on social media, on Twitter at Go Eat Drink Smoke, on Facebook, facebook.com/Eat Drink Smoke, and Instagram at Eat Drink Smoke Podcast. Hey, you made it all the way through to the end of this video. We're proud of you.
You should watch more of our videos. Make sure you subscribe right there to Eat, Drink, Smoke, wherever it is you get your videos, on YouTube, on Rumble, and don't forget Instagram, Eat, Drink, Smoke Podcast, where we've got the shorts and some very cool things going on.